Hello, readers and writers. Today it is day 10 of Camp NaNoWriMo July 2023, and I already have to be making a lot of adjustments to my plans for my writing goals, for the days that I'm going to be writing, for what I'm going to be writing. We are 10 days in and I have problems. So today I'm going to tell you what all I have accomplished over the past 10 days and why everything has to change now. Again, up until today, I have been keeping pretty well with my goal of writing 1,300 words or more a day. I had a couple days, actually no, I only had one day where I fell below that, where I wrote about 800 words instead of 1,300, and I was still pretty satisfied with that because the next day I just tacked on the 500 words that I needed and wrote it the next day, and it worked out fine. So I have been very good about keeping to my word count goals for Camp NaNoWriMo. Those are going great. I am about a day ahead of the curve. If I do no writing today, then I'm still on track. However, the first thing that changed for me this month is I got notice that my job, which I thought I would start late July, early August, I'm actually starting July 17th, which is going to take away a lot of my writing time in the day. And it's going to take away a lot of my mental energy because I'm going to be learning a new role at my company. So I am trying to get as close to my word count goal of 40,000 words before the 17th. So this week I'm going to be focusing on trying to write as many words as I can in order to reach that goal. Which brings me to problem number 2. And 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. I wanted to invite you into my writing process, how I've been working on this rewrite and how that work has shown me that I was not prepared to start writing on July 1st like I hoped that I was, and I was just in the mindset of fake it till you make it and you'll figure it out. And I figured out that I was wrong and everything is still pretty weak when I was trying to make it stronger, and I pretty much just rewrote the words of a previous draft, basically. Like, it's not stronger like I wanted this draft to be. Before I started writing for camp, I re-outlined Act 1 of my story. I had hoped that I would be able to re-outline the entire thing, but I only got through Act 1 before July 1st. Mistake number 1. I had planned for making it punchier, making more foreshadowing of the big problems to come in Act 2 and 3, and I had planned on making things a lot more faster paced as I was writing the new draft. However, I kept finding myself questioning the purpose of parts of my writing. I kept finding myself questioning, well, why am I focusing on this right now when I haven't even introduced X, Y, and Z? And I found myself feeling like the words that I was writing were not stronger words than previous drafts, which was my whole goal for this rewrite, was to make this draft stronger than the previous ones. Doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be the best, it just had to be stronger. And as I was writing, I wasn't feeling that I was accomplishing that goal. So instead of doing a full stop, backing up, going back to my outline like I would have usually done, I knew that I still wanted to write as many words as possible a day. I still wanted to try to hit that 1,300 word daily goal, and I knew that I wanted to keep moving in this story. And even though I was making notes of, well, this isn't as strong as it could be and I could make this better, I still wanted to keep moving forward. So I would write my daily word count into my story. I would finish the chapter, finish the scene, what have you. And then I would go into my writer's notebook with my pen and my paper and try to figure out what was sticking. What was the sticking point? Because self-reflective journaling is something that I've found is very useful to me. So I would reflect on that writing session and figure out, why am I feeling stuck? Why am I feeling like this isn't getting stronger when I've done all this work, I've done all this outlining? And I discovered a couple things that I need. Number one, I need to do a deeper dive on discovering my characters. Because one thing that I noticed in my first draft that I would reread in June is that my characters are inconsistent. There's some pieces of them that are not as well developed, and so their voices kind of fluctuate between a couple of different strengths, I guess. So I knew that I needed to develop my characters and their backstories with each other for my characters that have already been interacting and are not new friends in this story. Like my main character, Liam, and his bully. I needed more of that backstory to make the tension more real between them, because it didn't feel real. It felt like a drama. It didn't feel like history. So I knew that I needed to question why they had that dynamic, what happened in the past, to bring that to the present in order to make their interactions feel real. So I put that on my list of things that I needed to do. And then the next day I was still feeling off. Like something was not strong with my setup. I felt that it was still like too long, too loosey-goosey. It wasn't tight enough. The pacing wasn't there. The stakes weren't there. I wasn't doing a good enough job of introducing the weird to make this the prelude to jumping into a fantastical world. And as I was writing, I found a place where I could have more of that backstory woven in to everything that came before it. From the very first page, I could include this little piece of lore and use that to build the tension up to the inciting incident. But I figured that out around the 11,000th word of my draft. So I knew that that was another thing that I was gonna have to tick off and go back and fix in the 10,000 words that came before. And when I closed my laptop for the day, I'd written my 1,300 words. I'd continued past that moment and found a few other places where I could alter the pacing and make things tighter and better as I was going. And I sat down again to journal about that writing session, and I made a discovery. Let me take you back a second. One of my weaknesses in my writing is and has always been trying to include too many ideas into a single story. Too many plots, too many characters, too many antagonists, too many problems to solve, too many themes to learn, too many. I like to create complex worlds, but thing I have learned, just because it's complex doesn't mean I need to focus on each of those complexities within a single story. Especially because this book I have always envisioned as being book one of a series. But I was still trying to include 5 main characters, 3 villains, 4 villains actually, because one is a tertiary villain that is the villain of the overarching series, but isn't introduced in this book. I was trying to include all of the magical lore, all of the conflict in society, and the kids learning about their magic and developing it. Like, there's just so much going on in this plot. And through my reflection on what was feeling wrong about this story, I came to the conclusion that this is too much going on in one plot, and what I envisioned as book 1 would probably be better served as books 1, 2, 3, and maybe even 4. So basically, I came to the conclusion that what I had outlined as Act 1 would probably be better served as Book 1, with one major antagonist, sprinkles of the others, 3 of my main characters, my point of view character and 2 new friends, not 5, and ways to build the tension in just this one story to make it shorter, to make it punchier, and to make it more interesting for my imagined reader, who is a middle school student, or upper elementary, actually. So what I discovered is all of the words that I've written so far this camp, they need to go, because they're not serving the ultimate purpose of telling the story. They are too much fluff. Trying to do too much in too little time. Story of my life. So this week, I'm going to take that step back that I've been reluctant to do, and I'm going to play with this idea of dividing my one story into multiple books, because I feel that would be a better service to the story than trying and trying and trying to shove it all into one. I'm really excited about it. I feel like I'm finally getting to my problem, which has always been doing too much, and I always need to learn that lesson because I am the one who, I know it in my brain that this is a weakness of mine, but I think I've overcome it, and then I just do it again. So that's how my camp NaNoWriMo is going. How's yours? Have you reached any wonderful revelations about everything you're doing is wrong, like me? Are you on a steady path, just continuing on, continuing on? Have you reached a roadblock and suddenly you don't know what to do or how to move forward? I found self-reflective journaling really useful to my writing practice. As much as I hate what it reveals about me, really useful anyway. I hope that you will continue to tune in to my camp stories, to my writing journey. I hope that I'll have an update about where I've improved and how this breaking apart of my story is going to go as I start writing it. Fingers crossed, pray for me. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much. I've seen my subscriber numbers kind of jump, so I am curious to know how you guys are finding me. If there's anything that you're looking for in my videos, let me know. Any suggestions for topics that I could cover, or any suggestions for how to divide one story into 3 or 4, because my stories are too big for the confines of what I want to write. Hush you. All right, my dogs are getting antsy, so I have to go. Let me know in the comments how you found me and what you would like to see from me in the future. I hope to have another video up on Thursday, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay. You guys. Hey, fluff balls. Oh, now I'm done filming, so you decided to lay down? Y'all suck. Okay, bye.